The door creaked open, revealing a world coated in dust and silence. It was the kind of quiet that felt heavy, like a held breath, my new home. The real estate agent had called it a steal, a charming old house with character, nestled far from the city's clamor. But as I stepped across the threshold, a chill that had nothing to do with the autumn air slithered down my spine. The air was thick, stagnant, and carried an undercurrent of something deeply unsettling. I told myself it was just the isolation, the strangeness of being in a new place. Yet as I explored the shadowed halls and peered into empty rooms, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched by unseen eyes. The house wasn't just old, it felt ancient and aware. That first night, as darkness swallowed the surrounding woods, I knew I wasn't alone. A profound and malevolent presence seemed to linger in every corner, a silent promise of the terror to come. The unease of that first day quickly spiraled into outright fear. It started with subtle things. A whisper that sounded like my name, carried on a draft that shouldn't exist. Objects I'd placed carefully on a shelf would be found on the floor, as if tossed by an unseen hand. Then the symbols began to appear, scratched into the frost on a window pane, etched into the wooden floorboards beneath a rug, drawn in the dust on an old mirror. They were intricate, disturbing patterns I didn't recognize. My nights became a waking nightmare, filled with the sounds of footsteps pacing in the attic and the faint, sorrowful weeping of a woman. Desperate for answers, I tore through the neglected library and found what I was looking for, a collection of decaying journals and texts. They spoke of the house's dark history, of a coven that practiced black magic within these very walls. The rituals they described were horrifying, always involving a young woman, always aimed at harnessing a dark power. I wasn't the first to feel this dread. I was just the latest in a long line of intended sacrifices. The entity finally showed itself on a stormy Tuesday night. The power went out, plunging the house into absolute blackness, save for the furious flashes of lightning that illuminated the rooms in stark, terrifying snapshots. It began as a shadow, a distortion in the corner of the living room, darker than the surrounding darkness. It slowly coalesced, taking on a vaguely masculine form, its shape shifting and unstable. The whispers were no longer faint. They were a cacophony of guttural chants that filled my head, a language of pure malice. I felt an immense pressure, a force that tried to pin me down, to make me compliant. The symbols I had seen earlier began to glow with a faint, sickly light on the walls around me. It was trying to finish it, the final ritual detailed in the old books. I fought back with every ounce of will I had, screaming into the suffocating darkness, my voice swallowed by the storm and the entities chanting. My struggle was feeble, a desperate flailing against an overwhelming power that sought to consume me entirely. With a final, adrenaline-fueled surge, I broke free from the invisible bonds holding me. I didn't think, I just ran. I scrambled through the pitch-black hallway, my hands brushing against the cold, watching walls. I fumbled with the lock on the front door, my fingers numb and clumsy with terror. The entity shrieked behind me, a sound of pure rage that seemed to shake the house to its foundations. The door flew open, and I spilled out into the torrential rain, gasping the cold, clean air. I didn't stop running until the old house was just a silhouette against the stormy sky. I never went back for my belongings. I left it all behind, a small price to pay for my life. But I didn't truly escape. The experience left a permanent scar on my soul. Sometimes in the dead of night I still hear the whispers. The house may be behind me, but the pervasive evil it contained is a shadow that will follow me for the rest of my days. A constant, chilling reminder of the terror that dwells in forgotten places.